Testing. We're testing the mic. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Can you believe it's been another week? Time is seriously soup right now. I don't even know where the days are going. I feel like I've been getting a fair amount done, but not nearly as much as I want to be. This week, just in time for Valentine's Day, I'm going to be talking you through this painting. The painting's on my wall. I'm gonna get it. It is this watercolor painting. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and it was such a blast to work on. All right, so let's get into this speed paint. I have got my video right here next to me, and I'm gonna watch it with you, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the process as well as my thoughts on why we create art as art. Once again, I did this sketch originally in Procreate, and then I put it onto paper. I knew kind of from the beginning the feeling that I wanted, like a little bit of a sassy fairy feeling. I don't usually let myself draw things like fairies. They feel like almost childish to me, but it makes no sense because I love fairies and I've always really liked fairies. So why am I not letting myself draw them? Just because I don't think they're serious enough? That's kind of silly. So I did it, and we went full on pastel with this fairy, like maximum girly factor. And honestly, it was so fun to work on, and I'm really happy with the result. And once again, I'm coming out thinking, why don't I do more art just purely for the sake of self-indulgence? Like, this piece was so fun to work on, and it was a blast the entire time. And here I am on the other side with a painting that I really love. I also want to chat with you a little bit about reasons why we keep doing art. What's the reason that we do art? Why do we do it? What makes us want to create things? And why is it so hard to start an art journey from the ground up? It really does seem like an impossible task when you're looking at it from the beginning, but I promise it's not impossible, just long. And everybody's art journey is going to be so incredibly different from the next person's. So the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is strap in for the long haul and just do things. Just get things done and create art and find what you like to create. And that is part of what makes it so fun, in my opinion. So let's do it, guys. Let's paint for ourselves. You know, why else are we doing this? There's no other reason. We're doing it because it's fun. And if you're doing it because of anything other than it's fun, then, you know, I'm curious what that reason is. Because really, the art journey it's not a short journey. It really is something that takes years and years of practice. And especially in this modern age where it's not only just creating art and showing it and being like, ooh, look at what I made, but you also have to be a social media agent. You have to be your own tech support, and you have to be your own web designer. And it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of work. And it is something that you have to do for the love of it. What is it about art that you love? For me, I know I love seeing the end result of something. I love seeing a finished painting. Even if it's not perfect, I come out of that painting with just the best feeling of satisfaction, and like, it's like closing a book, like closing in a good book. Sometimes it's a good book. Sometimes it's a book you're like, whew, glad that book is over. But when you finish a really good book, oh my God, it's an amazing feeling. Along with the fact that I like to create art that I would like to look at. I love character art. I love looking at people's art, and it just makes me want to make my own art. And you know, that can be a trap in itself if you feel like you're not making the art that you see other people making that you like, but in the end, you're making art that is kind of a translation of your own soul. Which kind of brings me to another point, which is that when we create, we're creating things that, well, if you create from a place of having fun and self-indulgence, and you are following your heart rather than what you think you should be drawing, a lot of the time you'll notice a trend. So what is it that you are drawn to? What is it, the things that you find yourself wanting to draw but maybe don't let yourself draw? And all of those choices will define who you are as an artist. It doesn't make you less than because your path is slightly different than maybe the artists that you look up to. But it just means that you're on your own path. And those things can tie in once you've kind of figured out what you need to figure out while you're getting there. That makes no sense. Okay, back up. A big thing that pushes a lot of people forward, I think, is chasing the gains, or like trying to always get better and get better. And this is a big one for me. This is a big one for most people, I think, is that it's always a ladder. We're always going up. It's never ending. Literally no end in sight. You just are always learning. Embracing it as part of the process is really the only thing that we can do. I feel like the choices that we make in our art journey really define who we are as an artist and who we are going to become as an artist. The list of the type of art I like is enormous, but me, I don't have time to draw all of those things. I kind of have to decide what I'm going to work on now. And it's for the entire time I've been doing art, basically, it's been learning how to draw people. So at the beginning of my art journey, I was only doing anatomy. I have sketchbooks and sketchbooks full of anatomy until I got to a point where I was comfortable drawing the human body. Now that I feel comfortable enough with my human anatomy, I'm able to slowly expand my horizons, and the next choice that I make will define my art journeys. I'm definitely more interested in learning how to draw backgrounds and spaces for my characters to be in and kind of provide more of like a story setting. So that's my personal goal. So I know that's my direction that I'm heading in, and I'm defining myself as a creator. There's a huge market out there for people that draw like cool illustrations of things, and I wish that I could do that more. I wish that my interests led me more in that direction, but they don't. My interests are skewed so heavily towards characters that I just like can't make myself draw cool bugs, or like I love art like that, but I'm not gonna draw it because I would rather draw a girl than a bug. Okay, should I talk about the painting process a little bit? With this painting, I knew from the get-go that I wanted it to be very heavily pink and pastel. I had a couple color comps that I did. I had one that was more red and dark, and then I did this really fun pastel one, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna go with it. Once the color comps were done, I was like, okay, I still can't decide which one I like the most, but I know pink is gonna be the main color. So I went in with the pink first, and then I did a wash all over her skin, and I think I did the hair and the wings before I went in and did the skin tone and the dress. And once the skin tone was in, I was like, wow, we can really just push these mushrooms like full red, which I did, and it was so I'm really happy with how the mushrooms turned out. This painting was just so fun to work on. I want to do more stuff that just makes me happy. So yeah, this painting, I did a ton of layers. It was a kind of an exploratory painting, which sometimes I like to do with watercolor. You can't explore too much since you're working in sheer medium. But that said, I did actually mix up a limited color palette to start with. So I used these little teeny cups, and I had a pink, I had a darker pink, which is red. I had a red, I had a pink, I had the greeny color, and I had like a bluey color, I believe. But I did grab from my palette quite a bit for like the skin tone and a lot of complementary colors. Not everything was just straight from those 4 colors, but I didn't have the issue of not mixing enough paint for once, so that was nice. I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do with the inking. I've been playing around with different methods of inking with traditional art, so this time I went in with a brown pigment liner, and that was the Copic 0.1 brown pigment liner, and I just did the figure pretty fully with a thinner line weight, and then I just kind of did accent lines around the mushrooms and the wings, which I do at the very end, and a little bit on the background. But really going into this, I knew that the attitude of the main character was kind of the main thing that I wanted to focus on, contrasting her kind of pouty, sassy attitude with her like super pastel look. Excuse me. Oh, let's talk a little bit about the, so you can see when I finished, there is no background. I actually did the background digitally, so it's a scan that I took of just some watercolor texture that I painted on a smaller piece of paper. So I scanned that in, and then I just used a mask in Photoshop to cut it out around the figure, and so that is behind her. I couldn't decide which one I liked better. I was like too scared. I thought of it at the very end, and I was too scared to do it on the actual painting. So I was like, you know, let's test it on Photoshop before I do it, see if I like it. And then it worked so well, like you couldn't even tell that it's not painted on there. And I still couldn't decide. I asked some people liked it. Some people liked it with the background, some people liked it without. What do you think? With or without? So, yeah, let's just say that I feel like art is supposed to be fun, and we're doing this because we want to do it and because it's something that brings us joy. And whether you're a creator, somebody who's looking to do this professionally, or if you just like to do art for fun, why can't art be something that we just do to enjoy it? It doesn't have to be something that we do purely to have an end result. You know, I think having an end result feels really good, and so it's worth creating things that you can say, wow, I'm done, I finished this. But it doesn't need to be something so lofty that it's unattainable. Like let's do art that is indulgent and that makes us feel good and happy and makes us enjoy doing art. That's what art is for. Fun. It's for fun. It's for other stuff too, obviously. But, you know, we do it for fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed talking to me about all that. I'm sorry if I went on a bit of a rant. I guess I'm kind of passionate about these subjects. I love creating, and I really hope that everybody that I know can find a way to express themselves creatively in a way that feels good and brings that same catharsis that painting brings to me. So, yeah, go play, go do something fun, draw something a little self-indulgent, because, you know, you only got you. Do you, boo-boo. I'll see you next time. Bye.